Hare Krishna. Okay. Danke dir. Ist das Fest zu machen? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This melody, I was just watching the video of Agnidev Prabhu, who said this melody, what you just sang, was a favorite melody of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, so we will read from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, or Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Diary. if you would have any questions while I'm reading, just let me know. It's some kind of gesture. Prabhupada also refuted another misconception, that the so-called mlechas cannot become purified Vaishnavas, but we will have to take another birth in a Hindu family before they can become pure. Sometimes they say that unless body is changed, how a Chandala can become purified? Yes, body is changing. Dehino sminyata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata. Tata means like that. Every moment we are changing our body. This is Dehantara. Krishna said, the greatest authority. How can you say that there is no Dehantara? Suppose in my childhood I am born in a Chandala family, but if by initiation, by taking shelter of a pure devotee, I become initiated, so Dehantara is there going on. If I take initiation seriously in the next Dehantara, not that somebody was European or we take Europeans as Mlechas and Yavanas. Yes, yesterday Mlecha and Yavanas, but he has changed his body. And after changing, if he is initiated, then Shuddhyanti. He is purified. This is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abira shamba yavana kasadaya yanyecha papa tadapashrayasha yanyecha papa tadapashrayasha tasmai shuddhyanti Shri Prabhu Vishnave Namaha. Meaning everybody, all these races, Kirat, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Prabhupada explained in the purport of this verse, all these different races, Kasa, Yavanas, Prabhupada says they are Turks. Kasas are the Greeks, Yavana, Kasa. Pulindas are also one. I recently read something, there was a Pulinda, group of Pulinda, race of Pulinda people. Kirata, Hunas, Hunas, these are the Mongolians or whatever, these people, These are all these different races, they are you can say outcast. We use this word in English, outcast. But they're actually outcast. They're not part of the Vedic society. And the reason is not because they're bad people, but because their act is not pure. They're eating, things which are abominable, in the actually Vedic culture. Means nothing, not vegetarian, drinking alcohol, engaging in other activities. So this is considered impure. So the interesting point is that the world, according to the Vedic culture, is divided is based on activity, which is a kind of interesting concept. It's not like where you're born or what do you do, but actually what do you do? As there's this expression, tell me whom with you, what is it? With whom you are or whom you are hanging out with, and I will tell you who you are. Because the association of similarly minded people, you will act in a certain way. So the Vedic culture is the opposite. Is actually, of course, majority of the cases, if you're born in a low class family, you will be engaged in a low class activity. Just like some of us were born in a Mlecha so-called culture in the West, and we did not know better. My parents taught me, this is very nice pig's meat, it's very tasty, and you as a child, your parents will tell you it's very tasty, and you imitate the parent. So if your father is teaching you, I saw this once. I was in Vrindavan, and this one devotee, he had a son, and his son was 7 years old, and he already knew everything, all the yagyas, all the mantras, everything. He was teaching, his father was teaching him already. He was 7 years old, he was already engaged. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was also 6 years old, 7 years old. He knew whole Bhagavad Gita by heart, all the 700 verses. Anybody knows Bhagavad Gita by heart? You? No? There's still time. How old are you? 14. 14. So, and not just that, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was already, at 11 years old, he was engaged in printing books for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He already knew how to fix the press, how to put that time, not like now, desktop publishing, click, send to somebody and they will do it for you. You have to put each letter in this thing, each letter complete a sentence, Then you print one page. Then print another one, It was a big task. But he was engaged in this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was going to Namahatta is the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's invention, you can say, of the word. Going to sing Harinam in front of the large group of people. It is said that sometimes he would have 5, 6, up to 10,000 people in the kirtan. He was going around Bengal and around this Vrindavan area, Krishnanagar area. And he would have big kirtans everywhere. And you know who was giving lecture? Bhaktisiddhanta. Young Bimala Prasad, 11 years old, give lectures. Heavy preaching. So this is different kind of education, So meaning, again, by association, yes. By birth, also yes. If someone is born in a Brahmana family, is naturally his parents will teach him to be Brahmana. If someone is born in a Shudra family, naturally the parents will teach him to be a Shudra, with Vaishya and so forth. But the point is that it can happen that the child may have different propensities, especially in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the Prabhupada says, what will your 3 paisa? At that time there was paisa, no more. Now is rupee is the smallest. Yeah? At that time was paisa. When I went to India first time, there was a paisa. You had a paisa? No. You also grew up with paisa? Paisa, And he said, what will your 3 paisa Brahman thread do? You go to the market and you buy Brahman thread for 3 paisa, and then you put it there and you're Brahman. He said, you have to actually act as a Brahmana. You have to be purified as a Brahmana. Shamo Dhamastapa Shocham Kshantir Arjavam Evachata. You have to have these qualities of a Brahmana. Then you can be a Brahmana. So Prabhupada argued here that it is not true that because they are born, the people who are born in the Western countries, they're mlechas and yavanas. Because they become purified. Shuddhyanti, Prabhupada uses this word, Shuddhyanti. So when we go to, as a Westerner, in India, I went so many times at some temple, and they say, especially South India, and they say, you cannot come, you are not a Hindu. Oops. You cannot come inside the temple, you are not a Hindu. Then you ask him, what is a Hindu? You have to explain. Of course, they're not. Hindu means born, you have a brown skin, and you are born in India somehow or other. You may be drinking alcohol, you may be doing anything, that doesn't matter. Main thing, you have a brown skin. So this is, Prabhupada called this skin disease. So lots of temples are becoming more lax. I was in one temple in Guruvayur in South India, famous temple, and they said, if you want to enter a temple, you're not a Hindu. And I said, well, I'm dressed in dhoti and I'm chanting Hare Krishna since 25 years, 30 years, so what else I'm supposed to be? Maybe I can put some color in my skin too. So if you want to become a Hindu, you have to go to Trichur, to office, and pay a certain amount of money to the office, and they will give you a stamp with a paper, you are officially Hindu. So I didn't want to do it. So this is humiliating for me. Thank you, I'm not entering the temple. So this is, you can say, ridiculous and completely based on bodily platform. And even worse, it's a kind of racist. It's not kind of, it is a very much racist. Racist means you consider one race superior to another. So this is very much not approved by actually standards of Vedic culture. Vedic culture means the activity defines who you are, not the bodily skin or the birth. Yes, birth can help, but bodily, the activity is there. And Krishna also looked from this standpoint of view. So this is what Prabhupada says here. Which also prove the point, this devotional service is very purifying. That means that anybody can be purified. This is a powerful process. If you do not believe that somebody can become Brahmana by practicing Krishna consciousness, getting initiated in a Iskva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that means that you do not have faith in the process. If you think, as we heard yesterday or day before yesterday, if somebody is, it's like in the nectar of Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction, it is said that one who looks at the body of a devotee as immaterial, this is actually an offense. Even if body is diseased or in any other way, not as perfect, this is considered an offense. We have this story in the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sage Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra, Ashta means 8. So sage was somehow born, or I don't know exactly the story, but he was born with 8. He was somehow 8 broken parts. So he was walking a little bit strange. He had 8 parts, he was broken. So he was walking a little bit not appropriately. So people sometimes wonder, there was a story that somebody laughed at him. They said, look at you, how you walk. But actually he was a very powerful sage, Ashtavakra. So this is what to speak of the devotees, or actually devotees of Krishna, or devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the Prabhupada again wanted to emphasize and to point out first of all the power of devotional service. Second of all, he was very proud that his Western disciples took Krishna consciousness very seriously. In many cases, much more serious than the Indian counterpart. Many, much more serious. And Srila Prabhupada actually went once to Jagannath Puri, and then when he heard that his disciples are not allowed to enter Puri, he never wanted to go back to Puri ever again. Srila Prabhupada never went back to Puri. He said, and there's a letter, they said, if my disciples cannot enter Puri, I will never come to Puri. So this is very nice. Because we have now Jagannaths all over the world. It's nice, Puri, but we also have, which is a kind of not oxymoron, but kind of paradox. Paradox in a sense that we are not allowed to see Jagannath, but Jagannath comes to see us in thousands of cities. Thousands, not just hundreds, thousands of cities. Thousands. In summertime here in Rath Yatra, we have how many Rath Yatras in Germany? At least 7, 8, maybe more. And every country is Rath Yatra, every country. So Jagannath is everywhere. And Jagannath is so many altars. So this is you can say this is a Kali Yuga arrangement. The Lord says you cannot enter, because everything comes from Krishna ultimately. Lord says you cannot enter the temple, but then I'll come in 1,000 forms and you can see me everywhere. You can have me on your altar. They tried, the management of the Puri temple, to sue ISKCON. How do they dare to have Rath Yatra? So in India, I know they're not allowed to call it Rath Yatra. Last time I was there, and then one devotee said, we are going to Shobha Yatra. I was thinking, what is Shobha Yatra? This is actually Rath Yatra, but we are not allowed to say it legally. So they're going to Shobha Yatras. Procession. There's always, law is an amazing thing. Always some loopholes here and there you can find. So we are not doing Rath Yatra, but we're doing Shobha Yatra. Hare Krishna. So this is what I wanted to say about this. Do you have any questions or anything? Before we start reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Purana Mamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Vadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So reading text 11, chapter 12, canto 6. Purusha Prakritir Vyaktam. Purusha Prakritir Vyaktam. Atma Bhutendriya Shayaha. Atma Bhutendriya Shayaha. Shaknuvanti Asya Sargadao. Shaknuvanti Asya Sargadao. Navinayat anugrahat. Navinayat anugrahat. Purusha prakriti vyaktam. Atma bhutendriya shayaha. Shaknuvantyasya sargadao. Navinayat anugrahat. Purusha prakritir vyaktam. Atma bhutendriya shayaha. Purusha prakritir vyaktam. Atma bhutendriya shayaha. Shaknuvanti asya sargadau. Yan anugrahat. Ladies.
Purusha prakriti vyaktam. Atma
Shaknuvantyasya sargadau. Navinayad anugrahat. Purusha prakritir vyaktam. Purushaha, the generator of the total material energy. Prakriti, the material energy or material nature. Vyaktam, the principles of manifestation, Mahat Tattva. Atma, the false ego. Bhuta, the five material elements. Indriya, the 10 senses. Ashayaha, the mind, intelligence, and consciousness. Shuknavanti, are able. Asya, of this universe. Sargadao, in the creation, etc. Na, not. Vina, without. Ya, of whom. Anugrahat, the mercy. The three Purushas, Karanodakashai Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and Kshirodakashai Vishnu, the material nature, the total material energy, the false ego, the five material elements, the material senses, the mind, the intelligence, and consciousness, cannot create the material manifestation without the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Full technical verse today. Purport, as confirmed in the Vishnu Purana, Parasya Shakti, Brahmana Shaktis, Tathedam Akilam Jagat. Whatever manifestations we experience are nothing but various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These energies cannot create anything independently. So this is just one little point here. Prabhupada calls it energy. Energy is like something which is part of you, but it's not you. To put it really, really simple. For example, Prabhupada used the example, very good example of a king or a Bundesminister. Personally, that person is a person, and he or she expands his energies via his ministers or assistants or so on and so forth. So it's him, but it's not him, or the rules, or the, So this is the point of Prabhupada says that everything, whatever we see in this material world, is the energy of Krishna. Everything. There's nothing that is not Krishna, which is a very interesting philosophical point. Of course, the atheist they don't see presence of God, so therefore they say, no, this is not true. But what they don't see is that the origin of everything, the creation. They did not see the creation of the material world, so therefore they think there is no God. Because I didn't see the creation. So in the same way, when you see a child walking with a mother, you said, this child is just existing forever. I didn't see you giving birth. This is the same logic. How? This is not, the child just existed always there. This is the same logic, isn't it? Because I didn't see the creation of the universe, therefore I don't believe it happened. Or the Greeks, these atomists, they say that atoms exist eternally. Because you didn't see the origin, that means that you think. So it's a total speculation. There's no basis. Any logic you defeat it immediately. I'm amazed how these big scientists, they cannot see this. How can you not see it? But you cannot see it because you are, as Prabhupada called it, brainwashed. Brainwashed means you are indoctrinated with a certain, I would say, conclusions. In this case, scientific conclusions. So much so that you are not allowed to think anything else. Can anybody go, I don't know if you're familiar with the academic world, go to academia and you want to become a professor and you want to say that God exists. Very difficult. Unless you go to the, of course, religious department. But even there, many atheists are professors in the religious department. I know for sure. So you will go to, physics and you say that God exists. There was one physicist in England, same famous, and he was religious and he was attacked from all sides, but he was very smart and he wrote many books. But the point is that you cannot, because you're indoctrinated. You're not allowed, you can say, to think that there is God. So this is why these people cannot understand that everything is energy of Krishna. Because they're not allowed to think, and therefore you'd have to think some other way. And also when you're preached to, when you're very, very young, this stays impressed in your mind. When was the first time I think you learned about the evolution? I think for me, it was a 5th grade. I don't know. Is here in Germany? Anybody knows? Something like this, 4th or 5th grade. So you are like 11, huh? 5th class. Yeah. So this is when I also learned. I remember this fish. There was a missing. They call it missing link. The fish who's supposed to have L eggs somehow, and the fish. And they said this is the missing link, but soon they will find it. They'll find the fish and then there'll be everything wonderful. Which is amazing. And they teach you in the school and you get a grade and it's totally ridiculous, actually, in reality. In the same way it's ridiculous you say that there is an unimaginable being that creates this world. It's the same imagination. Because there's no scientific basis at all on the evolution. What is his name? Darwin was going on the ship, and they were going by these Galapagos Islands, and he saw these amazing forms, huge turtle, 10 meters, not 10 meters, but 2 meters big turtles, and all this amazing. And he thought, this is it. Completely standing on the ship and thinking, evolution. And then he wrote a book, Monkey, and this and that, and I read some articles. In the beginning, people are laughing at him. People are laughing in his article. They also wrote counter articles. But then he grew more and more. And the reason is also not only because people did not believe in God, but people did not want to be anymore politically subjugated. So politics is very much closely connected to the science, and religion. So they said, we don't want these people anymore, the priests, the corrupt priests, tell us, take money from us. So they stood away from this, and this was so-called Renaissance, started in the 17th, 18th century. It's only man is in the center. Man is the measure of all things. This is the motto. Man is the measure. Man means men and women, human person. So this is the measurement. And the world is all around us. Even love, we have so many love stories. Bollywood is famous for many love stories. People, finding each other in so many years. And this love actually did not exist until the 17th century also. Because people married because of a duty. Of course, there was an attraction, naturally, but the main drive was not love. As we, the knight of the England with a sword killing a dragon and going in front of the castle, and the beautiful lady is there, and she throws the handkerchief, and she said, "Please rescue me from this castle," And he climbs up there and kills another dragon, whatever, and he takes the girl. This is invented. People actually lived religious life based on duty. This is the actual, how do people coexisted together. It was based on duty. And therefore Christianity, even now, there's so much in the Western world at least, so much influence, with the law. If you read different law, like for example, law of morality, without Christianity, we will have a completely different law of morality. But it's still going on. It's still going, it's inertia, still for thousands and thousands of years of Christians. Then we have this moral laws, we still have a, family, marriage. What is the use of marriage in reality? If there is no God, if there's no morality, what is the use of anything? You can do anything you want, it doesn't matter. Because when you die, you'll just become atoms. It does not matter. In that sense. So therefore, this is called nihilism, actually. Nihilism means nothing matters. I can just drive in the car in the wall and kill myself. It doesn't matter at all. There's famous existentialist philosophers in France. Jean-Paul Sartre, he wrote this famous existentialist. It doesn't, nothing matters. But actually it does matter. Because there's a law of some kind, of some universal law. Not a human-made, man-made or women-made law. We follow the universal law. And this is the law of the material nature. You cannot, jump over. Normal laws we can jump over, okay. We can steal something and nobody catches us. Or the people kill somebody and there's a good lawyer, they pay somebody here and there, and after 7 years you are released. You're supposed to stay 25. So law can always be loopholes, as I said it in the beginning. There's a loopholes everywhere. But in the law of nature, there is no loopholes. There are no loopholes. We know every action has a reaction. Not many, maybe in this life, it may sit as a seed in the heart. It is explained in the Nectar of Devotion. Your action may sit in the seed as a seed in your heart. And then after 10 lives or 20 lives, it will come back. And then you wonder, what happened? I'm such a good man. I'm such a good person. Why is this happening to me? I'm such a good person. And the neighbor said, wow, she's such a nice lady. Why is this happening to her? And everybody's feeling sorry and, oh God, you are so cruel, some people say. But in reality, they're actually harvesting the fruit of their action in 10 previous lives, so hundreds lives before. Nothing happens without reason. Because the law karma is, as the one book, we have an infallible law of justice. This law of justice does not fail. Does not fail. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a description of a sage who was meditating in front of his cottage in the forest, and then one criminal person was running away from the police. So he thought, I'm going to hide somewhere, and he hid in the cottage of a sage. And sage, did not see it because he was meditating, and the police came. And they went to his cottage and they arrested the criminal, and they said, you are also with him. And sage said, no, this is my house. No, you are together. This is this is your hideout. So they arrested the sage. Sage did nothing. Very innocent sage. Meditation all day. So they brought him to the police station and they judged him that he's guilty. So they wanted as a punishment, pierce him with the arrow, with the spear. So they pierced the sage with a spear. So sage was, as we call it in ISKCON, fried. Fried means angry, unhappy. And he was like, what is this nonsense? I've not done any sinful activity in this life. Anything. Because sage, he had the mystic power. He understood the law of karma. And he said, I've not done anything in this life to be treated like this. Because every action has a reaction. So what have I done in this life? And in previous lives, he has cleaned up all his karma. So he knew that he does not have karma, bad karma. So by his mystic potency, he went all the way to Yamaloka, to Yamaraj. Yamaloka is a place where people go when they die. And Yamaraj is, the ultimate judge. And his faithful scribe, Chitragupta. So he went to Yamaraj and he said, what have I done? Tell me, what have I done? I followed everything. I never did any sinful activity. Sage was not just playing a victim. He actually was angry at Yamaraj. And Yamaraj says, no, actually, in the list here, you have one item. He said, when you were 12 years old, you pierced a grasshopper with a straw. And therefore, you get it back to be pierced by a spear. And sage was very angry. He said, this is total nonsense. I curse you to become a Shudra. And therefore he was born as Vidura in Mahabharata. But the point here is, and then the sage said, actually, until the age of 12, the children, they actually cannot produce any karma. So if you're a child, 10 years old, you can do anything you want. You get no reaction. Only your parents will get reaction. But you, as a child, until age 12, according to law of karma, no reaction. Pretty good. We didn't know this when we were children. Otherwise, I would be engaged and much more. So the point is, everything, you pierce a grasshopper, so you have to be pierced yourself. And we can all of us, just look back 30 years or whatever we were born, how many things we have done. Killing flies or stepping on ants or, whatever, fishing, whatever, whatever we've done, eating meat, cow, if you were, and all these things. And we have how much sinful activity, actually just this, and what to speak of actually doing something bad to somebody. So all these are sinful activities which we're supposed to take the karma upon. But by Krishna consciousness, it is said in Nectar Devotion, that Krishna consciousness practice of bhakti, devotional service, burns all the karma to the ground. All seeds which are sitting in our heart are burnt. Only thing which left is this body, which is called prarabdha karma. And prarabdha karma is this body. You still have to somehow live and eat and this and that. So by practicing devotional service, by becoming serious in devotional service, getting initiation, all these things, we actually burn all this karma. So in our future lives, we will not be pierced by whatever, spear, whatever. On the contrary, if you are not perfect, of course, you'll have a few more purifications to do. But it's very soon we'll go back to Krishna. So therefore it is advised to take Krishna consciousness very seriously. Why would you take half seriously? Which is benefiting you. This is kind of makes sense. It's like you are very sick, you have a fever, and doctor said you should take 4 tablets every day, and you I'll take 1. Let me try 1. Yeah, but then you will not get so healthy. You are not getting benefit. So the same thing, Krishna consciousness, you say, okay, I will do this, or I will not properly, or why? It is benefiting only us. So therefore, why not do it? And Srila Prabhupada says this very famous sentence, you can make it in this one lifetime. In this one life. Don't wait another life. So It's one. It's one life. Just give this one life to Lord Chaitanya. This is not much. Because we know philosophically, from theologically, we have thousands and millions of lives. So to give one to Lord Chaitanya is not much, really. Because we always have, in the material world, it's made like this, that we always think, just now I have to do something and then I'll be perfect. Only this I have to do, I'll be perfect. Only that I have to do, I'll be perfect. Only this I have to do to be perfect. But it will never happen. The Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto explains that Indra is doing hundreds Ashwamedha yagyas, horse sacrifices. So he did 99. I mean, this is a lot. You know, every Ashwamedha yagya, you have to have so much gold, so much ghee, and perfect priests to recite and everything. So he did all this, and he finally did 100, the last horse, and then the horse was there was Prithu Maharaj, and Indra stole it, because if you do 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices according to the Shastra, you become Indra. So Indra was afraid of his position, so he stole the horse. So there was a whole story how he was chasing Indra all over the universe. And but then in the end, the moral of the story is you can never make perfect in the material world. There's always something more, and something more, and something more. And there's always somebody better than you. If you think you are, perfect in the material world, just look at the demon Hiranyakashipu. He was the most perfect. Actually, you can never be as perfect as Hiranyakashipu. He could have anything he wants. He could go to heavenly planets. He could drink. He could do anything he wants, and still he would be the Lord of the universe. Nobody could send, and nobody could kill him. So, who can be better than Hiranyakashipu, materially speaking? And yet, he was killed. Meaning that Krishna is the ultimate here. Everything comes from Krishna and everything goes back to Krishna. So we should actually if we found Krishna somehow or other, we should take it. We should take it seriously and go back to Godhead. Why would you not go back to God? Why would you be born again? Again. Childhood, again, parent problem, school. Why? It's unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. And there's so much opportunity to actually divert from Krishna consciousness in the material world. So much opportunity. Now we have an obvious, internet is like the cornucopia. What is the cornucopia? Like a wish-fulfilling pot, as the Draupadi had. And, you can, in the pot, what is the name? Akshaya Patra. And anything you want, it comes from this pot. Anything, it's almost so much prasadam and everything, wonderful. So internet is like this. Anything you desire and not desire, you just click on all these wonderful things and you stare at the screen for hours and hours, the wonderful, wonderful world of the www. But actually, this is just a reflection of the material world. Material world offers all kinds of options. So therefore, we should not risk our next life to be that person, to actually, as we call it in ISKCON, fall down. Prabhupada used this word, fall down. What does it mean, fall down? You, like if you have ice in the winter, you walk and you suddenly slip and you fall down. So when you fall down, you can break your arm or you can break your hip or whatever, or even be dead. So fall down is not good. So we should practice Krishna consciousness seriously. Let's read the next. This is also confirmed by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya dyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and is producing all moving and non-moving living entities. Beings only under the direction of the Lord. The Supreme Person can Prakriti, which is manifested in 24 elements, create different situations for the living entities. In the Vedas, the Lord says, Madhiyam Mahimanam Cha Parabrahmeti Shabditam Vetsyasi Anugrahitam Me samprashner vivritam hriddhi. Since everything is a manifestation of my energy, I am known as Para Brahman. Therefore, everyone should hear from me about my glorious activities. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Aham Adirhi Devanam, I am the origin of all the demigods. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of everything, and no one is independent of him. Srila Madhvacharya says, Anisha Jiva Rupena. The living entity is Anisha, never the controller, but is always controlled. Therefore, when the living entity becomes proud of being independent, Ishvara, or God, that is his foolishness. Such foolishness is described in the following verse. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any questions? First time, second time, third time. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.